How do you know when to listen to your auxiliary function, the mentor, and how do you know when to listen to the tertiary function of the sidekick? Coming up. What's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. So this is my rundown on when to listen to what. And this is also it's an exploration at the same time. I'm getting some extroversion out there so that my ideas can coalesce and make sense of this. So I messed up my knee really bad. I twisted my knee and kind of tore the meniscus. So kind of like the sports injury, right? The classic one where, somebody gets tackled and their knee gets bent sideways and it locks up and they hop off the field. That's what happened to me, except not as epic. I was picking up my daughter, who's 14 months old right now, and she had built a tower out of cups, right? It's very cute, very skilled, awesome stuff. But I picked her up and she said, kick. She wanted to kick the tower. And you can't not let a baby kick something if they say kick, right? So I picked her up, and as I did, I put too much stress on my knee and twisted it, and it popped and locked up, and I wasn't able to move, and I had to go to the doctor the next day, and he gave me a nice big injection needle into my knee and shook it out. And now it's braced up, and I've been off work for a week and doing stuff and trying to recover. It's been a long time coming. I don't listen to my introverted sensing. This is what sparked this video idea. As an INFP, my tertiary function is introverted sensing. My sidekick is that guardian that has the scrolls, has the books, maybe not fake books, maybe fake books because he's my tertiary. But he can look it up. It's like, you've experienced this knee pain for 15 years. I'm telling you this. Listen to me. I used to do Taekwondo. I did it for 5 years. Got a black belt in it. Did Kuksulwan, which is another Korean martial arts. I used to play soccer. I did breakdancing for many years. I used to do inline skating, so I, jumped on poles and fell on my knees and stuff like that. So I've hurt my knee throughout my life, essentially. But I never really listened to it. INPs don't really listen to their body, their health. Health care is not something that we care too much about. We should, definitely, but it's in that tertiary realm and kind of into the trickster seventh function realm, right? So for me, it's not checking in with how things have been consistent throughout my life, not listening to that voice that says, as I mentioned, you've done this before. You should actually implement those life lessons and grow from it. Make some order, some stability, maintain a nice life by checking in with introverted sensing. That's the guardian. He's there with the shield to protect things. But I'm not listening to him. I'm just like spinning him around and seeing where the arrows fly in. It's awful. It's awful. And it could be because I've spent a lot of time listening to my mentor, my extraverted intuition, this explorer character, this innovative, inquisitive character who's always out there playing with the world, pushing buttons and shooting things and just jumping off ledges and doing whatever he wants to do to explore how things get triggered in different ways. I don't mean triggered as in like triggered, but I mean like if I do one thing, it's going to affect something. Right? It's all a system. One thing affects another thing, which affects another thing, and then it spreads out forever. And I've spent a lot of time in that. I've lived with extroverts for most of my adult life, and really close friends with ENFPs, ENTP, ESTJ, which is the opposite of an INFP, essentially, the flippy-flopped version. And it's put me into extroverted intuition a lot. I mean, I live in Japan. I had to learn everything. I had to start over, essentially, as a baby, unable to communicate, didn't know how to go to places, didn't know what to eat, and that's taught me a lot. And I've spent a lot of time over there. I'm not saying that I've necessarily mastered it by any means. There are areas that I definitely struggle with it, and I probably have that kind of one-trick pony type aspect of it, where it's like I'm good at this, and I kind of just put all my poker chips on it, right, and bet on that. But it's not like a full rounded out grasp of extroverted intuition. It's not favoring it or preferring it higher than my dominant function, that empath, introverted feeling character. But it's there. It's there to support. It's there as a mentor. And I've spent so much time listening to that. I think also I've really ignored a lot of introverted sensing life lessons. In this case, I'm talking about my physical health, my pains. I've had back pains. I messed up my spine breakdancing, which is why I had to stop breakdancing, because I have an arm twitch and leg twitch and stuff like that when I go to bed. It's really weird. It's restless leg syndrome. I've talked a little bit about it before on this channel, but also, have had health problems, right? And it's because I don't spend time listening to introverted sensing, listening to that guardian when it's necessary. Now, this is going to work differently for you probably, but for me, this guardian is constantly throwing out ideas or insights, recollection. It's reviewing, it's recalling those past experiences, bringing them back up as memories and comparing them to what's going on right now. And so it's been a steady progress. I've steadily heard introverted sensing say, don't do this, you should do this, you should listen to your knee, you should get it checked out, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And I usually just put that off, because there are more fun things to do. I can go chase squirrels holding umbrellas and sparkly stuff going around them. Right? That's more fun, that's more exciting. So I don't listen to the guardian. But when I do listen to the guardian, it's usually coming out of a sense of defense. I want to do something in an FI way, according to my tastes, like how I prefer my identity to be expressed. So I'll listen to SI, I'll listen to introverted sensing, I'll listen to that guardian in those times. And it'll say, this is what you've experienced before, so lock down on it. Don't explore other things. Don't listen to the mentor. Don't get out there. Don't try new things. Don't challenge yourself. That's one time I definitely do listen to that sidekick, that tertiary function. And that's not the healthiest, right? If you listen to something when you're defensive just because it's going to tell you what you want to hear, you're not getting good advice. As a perceiving function, it's informing me of things. It's saying this is how you need to protect your comfort, your physical health, your daily life. And I don't listen to it when I need to, just throughout the day. So I'm wondering how this comes out for you. I have my ideas, but I don't really want to throw them out there, actually, because I don't think that they're fully developed. And I don't want to taint any of your ideas too. So how does this work for you? When do you struggle with your tertiary function on a regular basis? I'll give a little bit just to get the conversation going. Like if you're an ITJ, FI is in there and it's telling you, hey, you should express this. You should maybe lock in on this feeling in a defensive way. Or you should use it to motivate you, to have some conviction about something, right? Specific to your identity, your judgments about who you are. As like an ESTP, I know this is more feeling, but you have extroverted feeling saying to pay attention to the relationships. Don't just push them aside so that you can explore and have the freedom to do what you want to do in the moment and turn it up to 11. So it's giving you good advice throughout your day, probably. But it's in those times where it's giving you good advice that it seems easier to not listen to it, right? I guess nobody really wants to have the pressure to change themselves, to grow. But that's what we're about here, is bringing in those lessons and just trying to make things a little bit better, 1% better, turning the 0 to a 1 every day. I did a little bit better today than I did yesterday. Oh, I didn't do better. I gotta kind of pay attention to that. I gotta work on that. Anyway, doodly-doo. All right, so please let me know down below if you have any ideas about how this is working for you and your type. Please say your type so that we can relate to it and we can understand what's going on with your struggle. When are these tertiary ideas or judgments coming out, these perceptions coming out that are actually really supportive, really helpful for you, but you're not listening to them? You're not doing what you should do because you actually go towards the mentor. You go towards your auxiliary function. All right? So keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.